All right, ladies and gentlemen, you are watching the Johnny Kramer Music Movie Channel. Is it real or is it Memorex? You have to ask yourself that. I have to ask myself that all the time. Now, what was the name of this one? I got all these lives set up. Hold on a minute. Oh, wrong one. Hold on. No, everybody's perfectly fine. Well, no one's really perfectly fine. We've all been attacked, but I haven't attacked anybody. It's just I'm making movies. But they're all going crazy already. Just making movies. What am I looking for? What title is this? Ah, Mr. Trump, you can keep the money. You can keep the money, President Trump. I want revenge my way. I know the Lord say vengeance is his, which I am going to go ahead and let the Lord have vengeance, right? Put it into the Lord's hands. But after the Lord, then I want vengeance my way. See, Mr. Trump, they turned a loving, kind man that has been tortured for a long time, stolen from, used, abused, whatever you want to call it. Probably more than, well, John, that terrorist that they just released. What's his name? John, I'll have to look it up. He was a terrorist. They had him. We cut a deal or something and they let him go or something like that. John Walker. Ah, John Walker. That's his name, Trump. John Walker. He was a terrorist and he got caught, right? Supposedly. And they released him though. John Walker. That was his name. But anyways, President Trump, uh, you're safe, sir. I chased off all the bad guys. I did what that's what you taught you said. Hey, I hired you to be a bad boy. And that's what I did. This movie is ready to go, President Trump. It's got everything. It's got it's got everything, sir. Horror, it's got glory, it's got morals, integrity, it's got even wars, poisoning, uh, uh, doctors, nurses that are corrupt, everything. It's got everything. Everything is in this movie. I probably got 20, 30 movies, Mr. Trump. No joke. No joke, right? No joke. But what you have to ask yourself is it real or is it Memorex? Now, some of the things I've been saying, Trump, see, I turn the truth into a movie. See, I turned the truth into a movie. Now, you got a lot of people running around here, Mr. Trump, saying that they're the police, they're this, they're that, they're the FBI, they're not. You got a lot of people driving around in a car out here. It's called the booty patrol, and they're dressed up like police, whatever. I don't know what they're doing, sir. But we found out we did our homework, President Trump. They're not. He wasn't a real cop, sir. I know the vehicle. I know he's. I know. I know you're probably pissed just as we are in this little town. And I know you know where the vehicle went. You hit it right on the button. You yourself, President Trump, said the vehicle is parked in a garage in town, and you are so correct. Once again, once again, he's correct. Who are these people? I have no idea. Supposedly they work for somebody in town that's very corrupt. I don't know. They do have something to do with this apartment complex, though. Yeah, you'll see the vehicle. It's called the Booty Patrol. You know what I'm talking about. Yes, they want to open fire on it if they see it again in town. Ah, it's not a real cop car. It's just some guy driving around dressed like a cop. And When he's done with whatever he does, he pulls it in his garage. I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. I don't know what to tell you. I don't, but they're not real. And if he is a real cop, well, he's more dumber than anybody on the force. Probably should be fired. But, sir, I'm in the middle of making a movie. This channel is a movie. I didn't mean to be so disgruntled or angry or anything, right? Because I'm trying to make it seem real. I'm doing my best to play a bad boy, like you were saying. I hired you to be a tough guy. I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best. Every time I act tough, I got the whole government coming down on me. Right? They want to send me to alligator that prison you just opened up, whatever, the Alcatraz, the alligator Alcatraz. I've done nothing to nobody. I don't even know how to use It's not me using the magic or witchery here, Trump. It's not me, and it's definitely not me. I went. There's no way I would have propane tanks in my apartment complex. So it's not me, sir. It's these people that they seen the opportunity to kill people, and it was right at election time, and they seen the right opportunity to use your name, President Trump, to get away with it. I wouldn't lie to you about that, sir. Right? Things were going bad here, and they seen an opportunity to use your name to get away with it. Right? Trump's there. Trump runs the play. Trump, 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 Trump. Little did you know, sir, bad things were going on here. Right? Them little white pills, that fentanyl shit that you're going crazy about. That's probably why these people were getting sick and fainting and whatever around here. Right? I don't know who's trespassing on these people. I know this much. It's somebody close to me or around here. I know that much. Who? I have no idea. Why? I don't know. I'm an idiot. I have a disability, President Trump. I'm an idiot. I can't do anything anymore. Let me tell you what, Mr. Trump, I had a job cutting grass for an old lady and man, older than me, 70s or whatever. And it was only once a week, President Trump. And I didn't make a lot of money. I just did it to make a couple dollars to survive because I have a disability and I can't do anything anymore, right? Broke down. These people have been putting bones at these people's houses or this couple's house that I cut their grass, putting bones in the driveways all over the property. The owner's like, where are all these bones coming from? Well, they have a camera there, Mr. Trump, right? Because it's been going so crazy there. Because I've been going there cutting grass. These people from in town here have been following me there, or someone's stalking me on YouTube, sir. And they were putting bones all throughout the yard. And the owners couldn't figure, they're like, what is going on? I'm like, I know this is freaky, right? You got bones everywhere and right in the yard. Uh, and I'm like, one day I pulled up there and there was a skeleton of a bird right in the middle of the driveway. No feathers on it, no nothing. Zero, nothing. It wasn't there the day before because I was there doing work there for him, planting some plants. I went back the next day and here's a bone. And then it's a perfect bird, but it was just bones. So then I walk around to the back of the yard. Uh, and right before you walk into the back of the yard, there's a gate. And right in front of that gate was a bunch of bones. And the owners was like, I don't understand this. Where are these bones coming from? And why are they appearing and they're just bones? There's no feathers, no meat, no nothing. Just bones, a skeleton. a bunch of bones. And that's happened 3 or 4 times. Well, the last time it happened, I went and moved the bones for them. They've been getting sick. They've been going through heck. Things going crazy there. And the next thing you know, I moved the bones, and the next thing you know, my whole world turned upside down and went crazy. Now, if you believe in the Bible like me, well, then I believe this stuff is real, and they've been doing this stuff. But now I can't even go back to that job and cut their grass. They're scared themselves. So they got a camera. Well, wouldn't you know it, Mr. Trump? Wouldn't you? You wouldn't believe this. Boy, somebody's putting bones on the property, trying to curse me. Well, maybe not me, but curse them. And and then, oh yeah, and then that curse jumped onto me. So now it's been a month. I think it's been a month, and I haven't been able to go over there and cut grass. I haven't been able to leave because uh, some authorities are saying don't leave your apartment because when you leave, they're coming in, and we think they're doing something. Either trying to poison you, or they're using uh what is that stuff? Visine. The same thing they used on that cop in town at McDonald's. It was that Visine shit. His heart started racing, pumping. He thought he was drugged. He was drugged. It almost killed him. They had to rush him to the hospital. So now I'm being told I can't go out and do anything, Mr. Trump. I got to stay home. I've been locked up. Once a week for 2 hours, I would leave and go cut these people's grass and come straight home because they've been telling me don't do anything, don't go anywhere because we believe that they are doing something. Someone's watching you on YouTube, or someone here is watching you. And when you leave, they're coming in your apartment, or they're dosing your LSD in your door handles, and you might be flipping out or something because of that, or they're poisoning you with this Visine stuff, and it makes you go crazy or whatever. It makes your heart race like you're on cocaine. Now, Mr. Trump, I'm going to be honest with you, sir. I'm clean and sober. I don't do that cocaine stuff no more, and I don't drink. Once I had my kids, I quit all that. It's been probably 30 years, 20, 25 years. And I don't drink alcohol no more. I don't touch anything. So I know it's not me. And also, I have to get blood work uh, to my doctor um, every 2 months. I would have to go in and give blood work to my doctor. And the doctor couldn't figure out what was going on with me. And I'm like, he's like, you got something in your system. Something's going bad. We don't know. I'm like, well, I don't do drugs no more. It's been a long time. And the only reason I did that was to kill my pain because uh, I had a massive accident. Well, a couple, but, and a couple operations and stuff. So uh, it got bad, right? I do believe some of them people were right. I think somebody was poisoning me. So, Mr. President, the only thing I'm living off of is what I get off of disability, sir. And for 1 month now, I've been sitting at home here because I got really sick when I went over there. And these people are demonic or just plain crazy. Or President Trump, they're watching my videos and they live around here and they're following me. Now, President Trump, these are government people working for the FBI, claiming they're FBI, sir. They're corrupt. These are the guys that are corrupt. If these are police officers from LaGrange, Indiana, and you're talking to these people, sir, and they're telling you I'm the problem, sir, I got over 5,000 YouTube videos on this channel alone. I'm not talking about my other channel. This channel that you're watching me on now, over 5,000 videos. I don't do anything, President Trump, but sit in front of this camera unless I have to go cut this lady's grass, which I haven't been doing that for the past month. So it is not me driving around town, sir, or doing anything. It's these people. You know, sir, I bought a car. You know, I have a disability. I bought a car, uh, when was it? 10 years ago? I think 10 years ago, 9 years ago. I bought a car, okay? Beautiful Ford sedan, 2016. Wouldn't you know it, President Trump? Wouldn't you know it? I mean, call this unbelievable. I mean, I'm not going to say anything. When I bought the car, I didn't see any of the cars that look like mine in this town. I bought my car, I showed it on YouTube. The next thing I know, there's 10 cars in town, same color, same make as mine. Just driving all over the place, causing hell. And then guess what, President Trump? Let me explain this to you. Then I drive, right? Because I don't like the speed. I wear my seatbelt and all that. Next thing you know, who's getting pulled over for everything underneath the stars? Me. Yeah, me. Well, President Trump, I hope one day you hear this video. I hope somebody higher up there hears this video. I'm holding on with every breath I got around here. I'm broker than a joker. I don't know how these people got me so messed up. I do believe the house I bought, uh, I already owned it from a will that I had no idea they even had. And somehow these people got me to buy a house that supposedly I was already going to get. And then turned around, I do believe, and demonically sent people there to that house and drove me absolutely crazy. And they took my house back. Yeah. And I believe me, President Trump, I went to all the banks around here, all of the banks, Bank of America. I went to West, whatever the bank was in town here. I called all these banks, and even Wachovia told me the same thing. Wachovia Bank, Trump. I don't know if you're familiar with that bank, but I called them. They're the ones that ended up with this whole thing, I think, or the first. They're the ones that sold it or whatever to Wells Fargo, and then the Wells Fargo sold it to another place, and it just went around, went around. Well, by the grace of God Almighty, I tracked down the mortgage and talked to the loan officer, the mortgage guy that was in charge of the mortgages. I said, I think you got a mortgage, am I? And I do think I'm being swindled out of it. And he said, well, we just got this package of mortgages. I said, what do you mean a package? And he said, well, we bought a bunch of mortgages and it came in a big pack. We bought a bunch of stuff from another uh, mortgage company and we ended up with it. Mr. Kramer, let me go through this loan, this pack of loans we bought, and I'll let you know what's going on. And I said, well, I think I was swindled. I said, it's too late now. You guys own the house. You guys bought the house. And you bought it from another company. I was trying to get refinanced there, but they said I was shit out of luck because it was a pre manufactured double wide home. and it was outdated and no place would loan on it. I'm like, so now what? They're like, you're screwed. You're stuck with that balloon mortgage. If you don't pay it, they're going to take it, and that's the way it works. Well, sir, I tracked it down. I called the bank that was in possession of the mortgage. uh, they contacted me back and they said they went through that pack of mortgages, sir. And the way it was wrote up, there was no way I was going to be able to pay for that mortgage, sir. Anyways, and the house was outdated and nobody would give me or refinance the home on it. And I said, well, what does that mean? And they said, well, pretty much they sold you a house that they know you would never get financed on because it was too old of a double wide trailer. It was on property. It's really what the property is, what was worth anything, President Trump. I had a beautiful, beautiful acre of land, President Trump. I had fruit trees on the back of it. I was proud of it. I was proud because I've never had nothing on my own. And I had a disability and they didn't care, President Trump. They didn't care. They didn't care. So I stopped payment on it because nobody would help me. Everyone said you're screwed. You're going to have to hire a lawyer, which I was already broke because at that time I was being put on disability and I had to spend money to drive around and see like 7 doctors and psychiatrists. And I was already broke. And one day I came home and there was a big African American sheriff sitting there in my driveway with papers saying you no longer live here and you're being evicted and your house, you don't own this house no more, and you have to leave. By golly, I was so furious. Right, I have a disability. I don't even understand this stuff, this mortgage stuff. I didn't even understand it. I was so happy to have a home where I could lay my head that I could call my own. I signed the paperwork and I even told them, do I need a lawyer? I mean, this is all legit, right? Oh, you don't need no. We're the lawyers. We're the people that are handling this, right? You're getting the loan through us. And for all I know, they were mafia. I don't know where the money came from. I don't know where the loan, whatever it was. I have no idea. All I know is they were financing my house. And I asked them if I needed a lawyer. And they said, no, no, this is pretty simple stuff. Well, I guess it was simple because I signed some paperwork with a 30-year balloon mortgage that went up every year or whatever. And I had no idea, President Trump. I had no effing idea. I didn't know about, I don't know this legal stuff, right? What the terms are. And so I'm an idiot. Well, I can build. I can do stuff. Well, at that time, I could work. I could use my hands. But when it comes to legal stuff with real estate, I had no idea what they were talking about. And I signed it. And as soon as I signed it, it wasn't long after that, my whole world got turned upside down. It was like people were calling me saying my mortgage payment was late, and I just sent it in. That went on for a year. I'd get a call every month. Like, you're going into foreclosure for what? I sent the money, and then finally, sir, I did. I finally said I'm not paying nothing no more. I'm not paying any more money on it. I stopped payment through my bank. I'm not paying this. I'm not being swindled. I'm an idiot, but I ain't that dumb. It was almost like they were calling. Well, it turns out it was another real estate person. What were they doing? They were trying to fucking drive me crazy. Excuse my language, Lord. To get me out of the house. And I'm not joking. It wasn't 6 months. They were calling saying, we haven't received a payment. I'm like, bullshit. It comes out of my bank account. What are you talking about? They would drive me absolutely effing nuts. Well, it turns out I talked to some other people in the real estate business, and I guess this is an ongoing thing. This is a thing in the real estate business. They want your property, they'll drive you effing nuts to get you off of the property. They didn't want the double wide, they wanted the property, they wanted the acre and a half of land. That's what was the money, from what I was told from some of these insiders. It was a double wide. It wasn't. Oh, it was built in 1995, I think, or 1985 or 89 or something like that. To me, it was brand new. But I guess this is a thing within the real estate business, right? These guys come in, they sell you something, then they just drive you effing nuts until you just go, screw it. Either I'm going to sell the place or I'm just walking. I'm not refusing payment, whatever. I don't know. All I know is a bunch of police showed up. You can't live here no more. Boy, they're attacking me. I'm telling the truth. President Trump, I even called the FBI. I know this is going to sound crazy, sir, but I'm a military kid. I've had a disability my whole life. The people that were military that protected me and made sure I was safe and people didn't screw me over, they passed away. God rest their souls. So I even called the Pentagon. I need help. I know it sounds crazy, but I explained it even to the Pentagon. For one, I'm losing my house. These people are swindling it out of me. For two, I'm looking for my kid. Can you see if he's in the military? Because at that time, sir, I had no idea where my kid was. I had no idea if he joined the military, whatever. I was checking on him also. But I asked them for help. I even called the FBI, President Trump, and let them know I'm being swindled. I'm being swindled. And everybody said, well, there's nothing you could do. So, President Trump, I am angry. The only thing I got left, because nobody wanted nothing to do with me, I was crazy. I made this whole thing up. Nobody has been sick here. Nobody's doing nothing. I'm making it all up. The only thing I got left to do is sit in this apartment and do YouTube. And let me tell you the crazy thing about that, President Trump. They hacked my computer and they've been stealing my views. They've been attacking me in the chat. They've been sending these demons or demonic things to me, whatever these people are doing. It ain't stopping me. They're like, it's God. I'm like, it ain't God. If it was God Almighty, my Father, the Creator, I would have been dead. This is someone using demonic stuff, President Trump. I know my Father. If it was God Almighty, I would already been dead. That's one thing you don't. If it's sent from God, it's over. This ain't sent from God. This is somebody doing something, sir, around me. And they're attacking me. And I'm at my last rope. These people treated me like I've killed people and raped and pillaged this country, and I never did anything. It turns out what couple of my exes that were all messed up on stuff, well, they spun a story, sir, a madman story. And no matter what I do in this country, I am the most horrible person in the world, but never did nothing. Not a dang thing. I've never hit a woman in my life. I treat people the way I want to be treated. Yes, sir. No, ma'am. Kind. So I'm going to tell you right now, whatever these people conjured up, sir, I'm going to be honest with you. I want to kill it. And I know I can't do that because I'll end up in Alcatraz, Gatorville. And you got to be half crazy if you think I'm going to be doing any kind of time in prison when I'm a law abiding citizen. And when I did work, I paid my taxes. And that's one thing I do know is if you don't pay your taxes, that IRS will come down on you harder than crap because they did on me. And that was when I was like 19 working construction, right? They didn't, I was working for cash. I'm not going to lie to this country. I'm not going to lie to this country. I'm not going to lie to the IRS. Yeah, when I was 19, I was working for cash at a construction place, and they were paying us cash. Well, I didn't know I was a young kid. I didn't know all this stuff. I had a disability. I was at a young age. You know, one day I get a call. Uh, you know, letters showing up and everything. Back then, they would call your house. They would send letters and call you back in the late 70s or 80s. It was, no, it was 80, 84, 85 or whatever. 80, 86, 87, stuff like that. They would call your house and send you all kinds of shit in the mail. And boy, they came down on me. I ended up having to pay the IRS $2,500. $2,500. It shocked me. Oh, are you kidding me? They're like, oh no, you got to pay this money. Turns out the owner of the company, I don't know, got audited or something, or turned everybody in. Well, I had to pay the $25 back. I knew after that, don't ever get a job that don't take taxes out already. Boy, they're hitting me hard with these demonic things. So, sir, I worked my whole life. Nothing was ever given to me. Not a dang thing was ever given to me. I had to work for everything I got. And I'm not going to lie to you, I've had troubles because I have a concussion. I've had it since a young age. I played sports in school, but back then they didn't know about concussions. So I continued to play football and just be a complete idiot, sir. Daredevil, jumping motorcycles, bikes, just acting like an idiot. And I didn't know I was actually playing football. I actually did more damage to my head playing football. But you don't find that out until, when I went to the doctor and they're like, well, that probably didn't help. You had a massive injury when you were younger, and then you played sports and football, and that probably and then you had fights. I got into fights. They wanted to know my whole history, President Trump, right? The whole history of my health, right? But they didn't know that kind of information back then. Now they do. Like it's a concussion. Uh, it caused your problems and everything like that. And you got to be on disability. You got a disability. You're not violent. You don't kill people, hurt people, or do anything like that. But you have a disability. They were real nice about it. They were real nice. They sat down and explained it, right? Right? You got this wrong, will you? And I got some problems with my bones from when I fell, right? When I had my concussion, my accident when I fell. Uh, and that gives me a lot of trouble too. So my back and my arm and shoulder and everything. When I fell, I landed on my, knocked me out, sir. It split me wide open. It split me open pretty good in my head, right? I want to thank God for surviving that fall. It was pretty bad. Yo, Ashworth. So, sir, I've been ran through the ringer. Now, I don't know if you know this, sir, but I'm a very funny guy and I have one heck of an imagination. And I used to spend a lot of time in the bars and joking around with people and doing all kinds of stuff, sir. And there's a lot of movies out there. Well, they're pretty much based off of my madness and my humor and I never made a dime off of it, sir. Never made a dime off of it. I've never gotten an inheritance from anyone that passed in my family. No property left to me. Nothing. I've been on my own, right? I've never had anybody pass away and they leave me a house or property or big money or anything, sir. Right? So I don't know who I am anymore, right? I really don't. I mean, these people have drove me absolutely crazy, and even living in here at this apartment complex, uh, you know, these people got problems. And I try and help, but what's the sense of helping when the police are threatening to take you away if you call the police? There's no sense of me doing anything, right? Every time one of these old ladies had trouble with these, uh, I don't know. I guess they said he was a biker or something. I felt bad for him. They said he was a vet, but he was a biker, and he was on that meth shit, and he was up till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning in his radio. I can hear it all the way down here, President Trump. And these ladies would come here and knock on the door and ask if I can go down there and talk to the guy or at least call the authorities and have them come. And I'd tell them, well, why don't you ladies call the authorities? And well, every time they call, they you know, it don't turn out good or they think they're making it up. And I said, well, I don't think they'll think you're making it up. I can hear the music all the way down here. And I'm all the way at the other end of the apartment complex. So I went down there and asked the guy if he can turn his radio down. He didn't. He continued to jam and play, and uh, it was almost like a psychological warfare. Uh, so I called the authorities, right? And every time they had a problem with someone around here, they would come here and ask if I can call the authorities, and I'd call the authorities. Right? There was an old lady stumbling around in the hallway, and she was banging on my door. She was stumbling around and she was babbling gibberish. And I said, well, you should go sit down or go back to your apartment. And she started walking back to the apartment and she was just wobbling everywhere and going, oh, help me. And I said, well, I'm going to call the authorities. And I called the authorities. And three of them showed up here. Oh, well, there's nothing wrong with her. What do you mean? She was stumbling back and forth, going from one side of the hallway to the other side of the hallway, jibber jabber. And she said I was in her apartment and I moved all of her furniture around. That I moved all of her furniture in the apartment. I said, something's wrong with her. And 3 police came down here. They actually had their hands on their guns. They actually had their hands on their guns and everything. I'm like, what's wrong, officers? that lady and everything, she's fine and everything. And I was like, oh, all right. Well, she acted like something was wrong with her. Well, she just wanted somebody to help her and talk to her or whatever. And I said, well, she seemed like she was out of it. She was stumbling around and everything. So I called you guys, right? And they're just like, well, if you call again, we're gonna have to take you. We're gonna have to take you to the station if you. I'm like, what? So it turns out, I don't know. I guess this was a big thing or something. They were. I don't know. It turns out they were. They some. I guess a couple of them were on the side of the dumpster or something, trying to sell pills or something, or they were stealing people's pills. And I don't know. I tried to explain to some of these people, them are psychological pills. They're not going to get you high, right? They're for mental illness. They're not to get high with, but they don't care. They'll do anything around here, Joe. So, like I said, we got troubles on the other side of this complex, sir. And I think I know some buddies, and I want to bring President Trump. I want to ask you if it's okay if I can bring in some of the security guys that I know. Oh, they will be armed, sir. And of course, they will be volunteer people uh, because I'm poor, but they care about me. So I'm just letting you know that might happen, sir, because the police now are telling me, well, yeah, you could hire a security team and you can film. See, they were telling me, sir, I couldn't have my cameras out here. They were telling me you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to film people outside your your apartment window. You're not allowed to have cameras. You're not allowed to uh, defend yourself. You can't have any weapons. You can't have nothing. And by golly, sir, boy, some of these ladies were really nice, President Trump, because when I would go and cut the grass for these ladies, and these people would come here and they would come in my apartment. Boy, I came home one day, and the one lady said, I thought weren't you just down here or out in the hallway? And I said, no, I was just walking up. I was checking my mail. And she said, well, I think came out of your apartment just a minute ago. Was it you? And I'm like, no, I just got back. I parked right outside the mailbox right there. I just walked in to get my mail because the mailbox is in here. And she said, I think somebody was in your apartment. Yeah, it's crazy. It was crazy. And then one day she said, there was a woman in your apartment. I seen her come out of your apartment. I said, what woman? She said, a woman. I said, I'm not dating any women. What woman? And she was even like, it seems like they go there when you're not there. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, of course, nobody believed anything, sir. Now, how many people died? I don't know. How many people got taken to the hospital around here? I don't know. I know a couple people did die. What have they been doing? I don't know. You got a bunch of serial killers running around in town and they're hiding behind the cult or something or God or something. I don't know. But we ain't standing down if that's okay, President Trump. Now, President Trump, I'm going to let you know these people are pushing us. They're pushing us, President Trump. Now, one girl on the other side of the complex over there where we're having all the trouble, she stabbed herself in the stomach because they took her phone from her, supposedly, from what one of the old ladies said. And then I found out that they were cooking meth on the other side. I don't know. Every time these guys get caught, they know the owners. Ain't that funny, Mr. Trump? Ain't that hilarious? They know the owners or they know the lady that works in the office or whatever. Ain't that hilarious? I found it really funny, President Trump. Well, anyways, it comes out that the people were cooking meth in the apartment complex there, right? And it was contaminating everybody. Ain't that a son of a bitch, Trump? Ain't it? Ain't it? It sure the hell is. Oh, that was one. And that all happened while I was gone. I came home, there was cops everywhere. The F is going on. Some guy's cooking the old white devil's dust over there. Oh, man. Hello, Miss Fox. So, wouldn't you know it, we just been having stuff go crazy all over. Of course, we got a peeping Tom here, sir. Yeah, ain't it crazy, President Trump? Now, if these are FBI guys, boy, you hit it right on the button, President Trump. If these are police officers, President Trump, I applaud you. You hit it right on the button. They're corrupt. But I don't think it is. What do I think? I think it's a organized crime cartel or a cult. That's what I think, President Trump. That's what I think, sir. And even possibly from what some of these people are saying, child traffickers. Oh my God, ain't that something? I'll be damned. Right on your government property, son of a. Ain't that an ass kicker? It sure is. It sure is, ain't it? It is to me. That's a ball buster, sir. Now, I'm going to let you know how this probably is going to work out. They're going to drive these people crazy and possibly me. And they're going to make it where these people flip out, just like they did to that young lady on the other side. Drove her nuts. She stabbed herself in the stomach. Either that or she was contaminated with that shit they were cooking over there on the other side. I don't know. Get that shit out of here. Right? Even get them damn pills out that they're popping around here. Get that damn shit. I'm telling you, it's probably fentanyl that they're pushing. And wouldn't that be a son of a bitch right on a government property? Wouldn't it, Trump? And then they stuck your fucking name. Excuse my language, Lord. I got someone trespassing on me right now. I don't like to curse, and I don't. Boy, wouldn't you know it? All this shit went sour, and they stuck your name right on the front of this building. And wouldn't you know it? Wouldn't you know it? Wouldn't you know it? They warned them that there was not supposed to be any, propane stuff or anything like that. Wouldn't you know it? There was people bringing propane tanks out of their apartment complex. A pink one, a pig. It was like a pink pig. It's like a pink pig, Mr. Trump, with a nozzle on it. Boy, they threw that away real quick out here, didn't they? They son of a. Ain't that a son of a? You put laws out there, the government, and they're saying you guys are the government, Trump. They're saying it's the government that's doing it to me. You're killing me, Trump. You're killing me. And no, I'm not a terrorist. I'm a honky. I'm German Jew, and that explains why this is going on, ain't it? They don't like their Jews around here. They don't like their blacks and their Jews. And wouldn't you know it, President Trump, wouldn't you know it? Boy, the propane tanks just came a rolling out like the Billy Clubs back in Chicago in '87 when a couple guys decided to take on a couple cops in that town I used to live. And boy, the Billy Clubs were swinging that night, but boy, they beat the shit out of them cops. Them were the bad boys in town. They made sure them cops knew, right? They told the cop we were watching it. They were like, "You best bring a pack of lunch." Well, these cops didn't know that these guys just got out of the military, right? These were the guys that we were our heroes. They were our town heroes, right? These guys played football in high school. We grew up in town. We right? We all wanted to be these guys, right? These guys went, joined the military, came back. Well, they had these couple of cops that were just corrupter than shit, busting everybody's balls, right? For no reason, right? Just continuously, right? These two guys came back from the military and shit, standing on the corner with us, and we're all down at the corner talking bullshit and everything. And here come the cops, right? The two guys, what do you got? What's going on here? Right? Pushing us all around and everything, trying to pat us down and everything, right? Oh, that was one heck of a night, Trump. You would have been so proud of them military dudes. Boy, they opened a can of whoop ass on them cops. Billy clubs were rolling all over the place that night, sir. I wish you would have seen that. That was great. The boy, them military guys, they were our heroes, right? They just got back. They just got back, and they picked on the wrong guys. And boy, them two guys just fired them guys. It was unbelievable. You would have been proud of our military, sir. You would have been proud. Well, of course, some two cops were corrupt. One got busted for stealing from Walmart in Orland Park or something like that. Uh, he had a side job, and that side job was ripping off Walmart, I guess, because they busted him for that. And the other one, I think, was wrapped up in corruption and drugs or whatever. And yeah, it's been crazy, President Trump. Boy, these people really stuck it in me, Trump. They took my house. There was no way. Even the people that bought the loans, even the people, the banks that bought the mortgages said you would have never been able to pay for it. And then when you did, because they gave me a time, President Trump, I had to pay for the house for 3 years on a balloon mortgage. And then they said I would be able to refinance it, right? Well, I paid on it, sir. But here's the thing, it kept going up, the mortgage. And when I went to go try and refinance it, President Trump, they would not touch it. They said it's too old. We don't give out mortgages anymore on that old of a double wide trailer pre manufactured home. I went to three banks. They all said the same thing. They all said the same thing. Even if you did uh, find someone to refinance it, you probably won't because it's too old of a uh, manufactured home. Uh, that it's too late. It's gone into foreclosure because you can't afford the payment, and you finally stopped paying on it. You refused to pay on it. Well, I have no idea, right? Because I bought the house from my aunt, right? I wasn't even living there, sir. My aunt was living there when I first bought the house. I was making the payments, but she was living there. She passed away, right? She had a will. Well, hell, I didn't even know, President Trump, that they're saying that there was a some kind of a will and testament or something that was linked to the house already. Well, I had no effing idea. They said I was in charge of it. I'm like, in charge of what? Well, that came with the house. Well, what the F is going on? I bought the house from my aunt. I didn't know anything about that. She was 80 some years old, right? I was staying at my grandfather's, who was a military guy, helping him. And my aunt lived a couple houses away from my grandfather. So it was easy for me to take care of my aunt if she needed help, but I was paying the bill and she was staying there. I didn't move into the house until after she passed away. I didn't move into the house till after she passed away. And that's when the hell started. That's when I found out uh, nothing mattered. Nothing mattered. There was nothing I could do. The mortgage was wrote up specifically that there was no way I was going to be able to pay for it. And they knew I would go in. Well, this is what the bankers told me. Well, they knew you eventually the situation you were in, disability, and you had a disability, but you weren't on disability yet, and there was no way you were going to be able to. I'm like, so what does that mean? Well, pretty much it was you were screwed. No way around it. You were screwed, and they knew that. And the topper is supposedly I was in charge of this will that she had, will and testament or something like that. Something I have no idea about that stuff. I don't know what was left to me. I had no idea. So yeah, President Trump, they really took me for a ride. They really took me for a ride, sir. So that was the problem, right? That's how it all started. And then it got worse when I moved in here. And I guess there was a problem already here when I moved to this complex. That's HUD funded, government supported. And I thought it was me. I was going to move out. I told the lady, I said, "Is it me causing all this trouble? Am I doing something wrong?" And these older ladies and some of these ladies and guys here were going, "No, this has been going on before you moved in, and it's been like this." And I was like, "Well, I thought maybe it was me or something, like I brought bad juju or something." And they were like, "No, this has been going on before you showed up." And I didn't believe these ladies, President Trump, until I walked down to the end of the hallway on the other side of the complex here on this building, but there's two wings. And it looked like one of the ladies opened up the door, the hallway door, and the light shined through into the hallway. And I guess they painted some Pentagon word shit on the walls, Pentagon stuff, like devil shit or something. But the apartment complex painted over it, right? And I was like, "Well, what's that stuff?" And the lady was like, "Well, that's they wrote something on the walls, the people that lived here or something, on the hallway walls." And that's when I believed then what these ladies were saying, that this was a problem before I even moved in, President Trump. Hey, Valdez, what's up, buddy? How you doing? You being a tough guy again? What'd he do now? Oh, Debbie split. Yeah, she's trying to make me out that I hate Trump and I hate my country and I'm a terrorist. I don't know what's wrong with her. I'm the worst guy in the world, she says. I don't. But don't worry, Valdez has come to her rescue. I'm just such an evil monster. I am so evil and monster. But yet they got no proof of nothing. What do you mean I'm not? What did I do? Show me the proof of this. Nothing. I didn't do nothing but make movies, Trump. And I've been on this thing, YouTube, for I don't know how long. Uh, like I said, I got 4 or 5 thousand videos on this channel alone, and that's not including my other channels. So I don't do anything. It ain't me going out there causing trouble, and I would like to have these people prosecuted for witchery, sorcery, demonic spells, poisoning, uh, abuse. Uh, there's rules here. No one is following your rules, President Trump. Nobody is following the rules here. No one. They all claim they know the owner or know the people and they can do whatever they want. So there you go, President Trump. I've been held hostage since I was a child. Who knows what they done to me? Who knows what these idiots have done around here? But I can tell you this much: we got a list of everyone that's lived here for the past 20 years, so we can track them all down. Do family trees on them if you want, Mr. Trump. We can do that. They've already threatened me numerous times. You know what happened, President Trump? All these people were going crazy when that girl stabbed herself, and the cops came here and pulled out a couple guys on the other side of here. Right, the cops came here, had their guns drawn and everything on the other side of the apartment complex here. They were screaming for the guy to get on the ground and all kinds of stuff here. The apartment complex here handed out pamphlets to us saying that they're not liable for any bodily uh, harm to any of the tenants here from any other of the tenants. So basically, the people that run this place or own it said they're not liable if someone else that they know is causing trouble, and they've called the office here numerous times about them. And if nothing was done, and something happened and their family attacked the person or one of these people at this government complex, this whatever it is, that they're not liable for it. And I was like, you got to be shitting me, right? You're not liable for anything that happens to these people when they're calling the office and telling you these people are bad people and doing bad things and everything. They said, no, we're not liable for it. I said, guess what? They were like, what? I said, I'm not liable for what happens to this town. And they were like, no, you're not. I'm like, exactly. There you go. No, of course, sir. I'm one that I always have my camera running when I can. I can't afford to have it running 24/7. I can't afford it. But I'll be a son of a gun right in your nose. Boy, they were killing people left and right, and they were putting your name right on it. Wouldn't you believe that, sir? Boy, as soon as the shit got sour, they put them government with your name all over it. And boy, wouldn't you know it, some guy was smart enough to take the photos of it and the propane tank, right? I wonder why them people went crazy on the other side of the complex where I found that propane tank that was painted pink and looked like a pig with a nozzle on it. I don't know. I really don't know. But thank God that person did take the photos. Thank God that person took the photos of the dilapidated doors that were broken in here from people stealing shit, Trump pills. Valdez has come to protect me. He's going to protect me from Debbie. She can get ornery when she gets mad. She's like one of them little Tasmanian devil ladies. Don't piss her off, Valdez. But wouldn't you know it, Trump? Well, you know they say you're a pretty kind man, President Trump. I've never met you myself, sir. But they say you're a gentle giant, that you're a very kind man and understanding. Now, on my God is my witness, yes, I did call the FBI and let them know I was being swindled out of a mortgage company. And yes, sir, I did call the Pentagon. And I've called numerous places asking for help kindly. nicely, explaining that I'm also a military family. My grandfather was military. My uncles were military. No one came, sir. No one came. But by golly, when these women needed help here, I helped them. When we had that bad storm and the tree blew over on top of that roof, down a couple doors down from me, a couple apartments down, and the lady was spooked, and she couldn't get out her front door. Who went ahead and pulled that off? A very nice gentleman went and helped her pull. Well, she couldn't do it, but he pulled the tree off of the roof and away from the door so she can get out and feel comfortable. She was scared to death. It was going through the. She thought it was coming through the roof. You know who helped these ladies out when they needed it, and these people? And President Trump, there was a kind man. There was a guy that lived here. He had a disability, was paralyzed. He was in a wheelchair. This guy came out of his apartment to throw his garbage away, and this young kid accidentally drove off of the sidewalk, and his motorized uh, wheelchair tipped over with him in it. He was on the phone with the police when the guy walked out there. When I walked out there, the guy was on the phone with the police, asking the police for help. Help me! I'm tipped over in my wheelchair. Well, I was just a passerby and seen him tipped over, screaming for help. So I went and helped him. I tipped his them dang wheelchairs, them motorized wheelchairs. Them suckers are heavy. Well, anyways, and he was in it. He was strapped to it. So I tipped it back up, got it up on the sidewalk. And the kid's going, thank you very much, thank you so much. And he's on the phone with the police still. Well, here come the police. Up the parking lot here. I tell the kid, are you okay? He says, yeah, I'm fine. So I start walking to throw my garbage out, and this cop comes at me. Don't you go nowhere. What? I helped the kid, right? And the kid's telling the cop, he didn't do nothing to me. And the cop's got it putting his gloves on. He's like, hey, you come here. Yeah. Oh, these cops don't like me, Trump. They don't like me. But they didn't like me since I was a young kid. And me and my girlfriend got taken down to that trailer. Some cop that was out there was a real sicko and did some was a real idiot, sir. So there's my story, President Trump, and I'm sticking to it. And by golly, wouldn't you know it? I guess all this time, now people are starting to say, he's telling the truth. What are you going to do now? Now what's going to happen when these people actually came forward now and said, no, he actually helped. He was not the problem. And I don't know why you people are targeting him. Well, it comes out, I guess someone passed away, and I guess they left me a lot of bunch of bingo money. Well, I guess they stole that too. Wouldn't you know it, Trump? Wouldn't you know it? Right on your watch too. Ain't that something? That is something. Well, thank God you got Alcatraz Gatorville down there, because I got a bunch of people that I'm going to send to you down there. I hope you don't mind, President Trump. I'm a big supporter of Judd Grady, or Grady Judd, whatever they call him down there in Florida. I'm a real big supporter of him, sir. So I will send you some people if you need me too, sir. Now, some of these people might claim they know you, sir. I know this much, President Trump. We're having a problem. A lot of people around here at the complex are complaining about the mail. I guess the mail has been getting mixed up somehow. I guess somebody, when I talked to one of the older ladies, and she said that somebody had the key to the mailboxes here. And somehow, I don't know if the mail keeps getting mixed up deliberately by the mail people, or somebody is coming into the mailboxes and, well, probably trying to spend or steal them checks that you've been sending in the mail to these people. Wouldn't you? I know, Mr. President Trump, I am as shocked as you for these people to be so brazen on government property where the government is assisting this place and making our mortgage, or not our mortgage, our rent cheap to survive on disability or SSI. And wouldn't you know it, that these people are doing this right on government? And it's crazy how they know you. I have no idea. I didn't know. I thought they were just joking. I had no idea. Ain't that something? Boy, I'll tell you, that's something. Ain't that something? That is something. Ain't it? Now, I know you can hear me, and I know you know who I am, President Trump. Come on now. I know you know exactly who I am. I know I heard you uh, on your commercial. Well, we'll see what we can do for Johnny. I can use your hand out here, President Trump. I got some undercovers that are saying some of these people have been in my chat, and some of them been, doing things. I don't know if that's true, sir. I don't know. These spirit ladies are saying the same thing too. It's just crazy. I don't know. I don't know. Even some of these church people now are telling me, "No, you're not crazy. No, you're not crazy. You don't." They're trying to say I'm crazy and I need to be locked up, right? That I'm violent, and I've hurt a lot of people, and they've been watching me 24/7 here, Trump, and they're like, "You haven't done nothing." They've been lying. They've been making fake reports, and they've been doing stuff. And I was like, I'll be danged. What about the stuff with Trump when this stuff went sour around here and people were dying, getting sick? We were trying not to, Trump, you know what happened? OCV came to town, and we were trying to help these older people and these people around here. And they were putting up signs around here. Don't come out of your apartment if you're older. If you do, wear a mask. No more hanging out in the lobbies because there's an outbreak. You know what these people did? They ripped them posters. They ripped them signs right off of the door. You don't tell us what to do. You don't tell the. It was unbelievable. We were trying to save their lives. Yes, some of them, I think a couple of these people died here. I know I came home one day and the ambulance was outside there like they passed away. I'm like, oh, jeez. Right? They didn't care. Why? They were a super spreader. So, yes, President Trump, I labeled them super spreader terrorist cells. They knew they were sick and they were deliberately spreading it, going out and spreading it. And then we went ahead and we analyzed it. See, sir, I am somebody, sir. I know you know who I am. And we analyzed it and seen that all these people were coming together in big groups and going out and gathering. And what they were doing, what were they doing? They were spreading it. They knew they were contaminated, but yet they chose to spread it. Now, you were right about that again, President Trump. I'm sorry. I'm going to tell him, I'm going to give props where due. He was right about that. They were using that as a weapon. They've been using every disease you can think of as a weapon, President Trump. No joke, sir. No joke. No joke. You hit it right on the button, President Trump. When you said at your speech, are they using it as a weapon? They were no longer. They were also using the authorities as a weapon, and they were also using deadly viruses, sir. And I labeled them super spreader cells. And we're also labeling some of these people suicide cells, meaning they go into chats and they drive people crazy until people kill themselves, which, Mr. President Trump, we're going to show you a couple cases on YouTube where these YouTubers were drove crazy and they killed themselves. And the proof is there. Now, this is going to be shocking to you. How could this be happening? Well, it's pretty easy, sir. If you think about it, Mr. John Lennon said it best. It's easy if you try. Open your mind. Use an open mind. It's pretty easy. Yeah. So, what do we do about it, President Trump? Right? I don't know. Hey, I'm not a killer. And I'm a very loving person. And I've never hit a woman in my life. I've never even been with a prostitute in my life, President Trump. I've never even had the greatness to experience two women at one time. Do you understand, Trump? I'm totally different than these other people because I believe in one on one, and marriage is between a man and a woman, and you're with one woman and you spend the rest of your life with her. I ain't what you call a player. But boy, wouldn't you know it, sir, that these people that are older around here, boy, they're popping up with these STDs, and now these younger people. And wouldn't you know it, President Trump? Wouldn't you know it? Wouldn't you know it that now some of these people are putting two and two together, President Trump? They're connecting the dots of what's going on. Like I said, sir, I don't like traffickers, and I don't like these sickos in my town, and these cults that are standing behind thy book, the King's book, and these churches and this little town, or even in Indiana. Really, it's Indiana. I think it's really this whole Indiana. It's just Indiana. So what are we going to do about it, Trump? Well, like I said, sir, I would love to send you some occupants down to Gatorville. Now, sir, I know this is going to piss a lot of people off, but I would love to do that, sir. Now, there's only a couple options we can do here, sir. Either these people continue to use their witchery, tortures, whatever they've been doing here, breaking in, selling our information, uh, doing all kinds of crazy stuff here. Uh, Either they can stop this, right? I'm a peaceful man. I've turned the other cheek and I've kept the peace here, right? Or, sir, I'm going to have to send some of these people down to you. Do you understand? Now, they're already looking for the president of Lakeland Management Team who runs all this stuff, sir. I guess there's a whole bunch of people in South Bend at a complex that this management team or the people that own this or run it or whatever, I guess a bunch of people came up dead at that apartment complex, sir. Now, like I said, sir, he took off on the run. They're still looking for that guy. He was the president of this thing, the CEO. Turns out he was treating people bad. The same place that had done that in South Bend and Elkhart. Well, I guess they run this place too. Wouldn't you know? Son of a gun! Son of a gun! Son of a gun! Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you know it, Trump? Wouldn't you know it? Jesus Christ! Wouldn't? What a coincidence! What a coincidence, if you ask me, sir. And I think you hit it right on the button, President Trump, when you said, are they using this stuff as a weapon? Are they weaponizing the government and the police and using chemicals and abusing these people? Mr. Trump, you hit it right on the button, sir. You hit it right on the button, sir. Now, like I said, sir, if this don't change up here in the upper peninsulas of God's country, is what I like to call it because I was raised in Chicago and I was a big fan of the great outdoors with the great Danny Aykroyd and Johnny Candy. Uh, and that's what I do, sir. Uh, I support people I love. So, we got a situation up here, sir. Now, sir, I was into sports. I always didn't look like this. Actually, I was a pretty good looking kid until these Satan worshippers got a hold of me, sir. Uh, and yeah, I'm in the books for wrestling at a off season tournament. I took third place. It was I don't know. It was hundreds and hundreds of kids there. I took third place in my weight division. Uh, that's on the books. That's on the books. I played high school football. I was dumber than an idiot. I wrestled and I did stuff. I was a good kid. I couldn't graduate because I didn't have enough credits and I was an idiot. So I went to work at a young age with a disability that I knew I had, and everybody knew it. Everyone would tell me, I think something's wrong with you. I think I was cursed. I mean, with the brain damage, and then I pissed off a couple people, and I think they cursed me. I think these professionals are telling the truth. It was a curse. You know what? I believe Lil Wayne, that rapper. I believe him. I do believe he's cursed or was cursed. I do believe they're doing this stuff in our country, President Trump. Now, I'm dumber than a doornail. I have very bad days and I have good days because of my disability. But even on my bad days, I don't kill people and I don't hit people and I don't abuse people. I do believe these people are telling the truth, President Trump. They're trying to kill me because I caused too much trouble here by calling the authorities, by complaining that the doors were being messed up, because I called the authorities for these ladies around here. And I do believe somebody got their balls all up in a twist and tried to take me out, sir. Hell, one morning I woke up and my door was open. Wouldn't you know it? Now, I'm a military family guy, President Trump, raised by military. I know to lock my windows and doors at night and screen doors. I know to set booby traps at night. I know it's crazy, ain't it? But when you have family members that were in the military and they came back from NAM and shit, they fill you in on how to get a good night's sleep, right? Now, my one family member was a military MP, Air Force military MP. He taught me to have a dog and also set booby traps, right? Someone comes in the front door, they touch the handle, right? You got a loaded shotgun leaned up against the chair with a string tied to the door. They open it, bada bing, bada boom, it's over. They also showed me other things, President Trump, how to just take a shotgun shell and turn that into a device where if they open the door, it explodes. They've also taught me other things to survive in a country of madmen, President Trump. And I do want to thank Uncle Si for explaining to us that we can make this napalm in smaller jars, which contain it. And all we got to do is light it and throw it like a grenade. I want to thank Uncle Si from the Dynasty for explaining that to us. Leave it up to Uncle Si. Ain't nothing napalm can't handle. Thank you. And turpentine, if you got rabies or whatever. So it's been a zoo. But you know what, President Trump? I'm used to it. You know why, sir? Because I'm from Chicago, sir. I know what Capri Green was, sir. You understand, sir? Capri Green was a place in Chicago, government operated apartment complex. That didn't last too long. It was taken over by some real OGs. Now, I used to drive past that place all the time because there was uh, a semi truck and trailer yard there. See, and my grandfather, when he got out of the military, became a truck driver, union. And I used to hump loads for him a couple times. So he would usually have to drive right past Capri Green because there was a trailer yard there that would hold trailers, and the semis would come in, hook up to the trailers, and pull out. So I know Capri Green was crazy. I seen it every time I went with him. Right? They weren't joking about Capri Green, folks. They literally had machine guns and they would stand outside and guard it. Not the police, the drug cartel. Not even the police would go to Capri Green without a massive force. There were shootouts there many times in Capri Green. And let me tell you what, I don't know how many times I went to that semi yard with my grandfather, and these people would cut right through the gate. You pull up to the yard, and there'd be a hole missing out of the gate. They'd cut right through the gate and get into the semi trucks. They'd get right into the semi trucks and just take everything out of them. It was nuts. It was completely nuts. So, what are we going to do about this problem, President Trump, in this area? Now, I know they've been telling you I've been lying, and I know the Lord's been sending you signs that I ain't lying. I know that, President Trump. I know these people around here know that I'm not lying. I'm not lying at all about the bullshit that's been going on. Now these people are saying I'm scaring them because they're watching my channel and I'm doing this movie stuff and I'm acting. I've never done anything to anybody around here. I haven't done anything to nobody. I don't even talk to anybody. If I talk to anybody, it's at the mailbox to say hi and have a good day, and that's it. So I don't know what we're going to do about this problem in Indiana, sir. I really think it's a very big problem, sir. Very big problem, especially when they're putting your name on the dead bodies and the madness, right? Very big problem. Very big problem. Well, let me check out and see what's going on in my chat. I got more haters in my chat than I do around here, probably. He does, Cal, but let's see. I care about him very much, but sometimes I can't stay. Oh, I don't want you to stay, right? You folks got a life. You folks got a life. You should go live it. You really should. You should go live it. I'll be fine. Believe me, I've been on YouTube for I don't know how long. My first 2, 3 years, I did YouTube without nobody. I made videos just talking to the world, right? I don't need yous. I can entertain myself. If I bother yous and you don't like this channel, you don't have to come here. I understand. I don't hold hostages. So quit trying to make it seem like I'm holding you hostage. You're free to go whenever you want. I don't control women. I don't abuse women. And you folks were taken for a ride, and so was the government. And I think the government finally figured it out. And I don't think anything's going to be happening to me. I think I'm going to be having some Harley Davidson. I think Trump said Hell's Angels would be the best to protect me. Uh, I wouldn't. I don't have no problems with the Hell's Angels. Them are crazy guys. I hope they take showers though. They do get kind of crazy when they're partying. But hey, if Trump thinks they'd be the best to go ahead and protect me, then I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Right? I'm all for it, sir. But see, sir, I'm not one. I'm not worried. I can defend myself. I've done that plenty of times, President Trump. Plenty of times, sir. It's these other people. It's these older people. It's these people that have disabilities here, sir. Uh, and I do believe there's some cult people here that are doing stuff that they shouldn't be doing. Uh, Possessing people or using magic or whatever. And the proof is on the walls. The proof is on the walls. And I do believe them couple of ladies and that one guy was telling the truth. Uh, it's a zoo. There is a lady that comes to the office, but she's only here once or twice a week and only for a couple hours and she's gone. And it's like everything calms down when she's there. But as soon as somebody leaves or whatever, the madness. And then when they get caught, well, we know her. Right? Are these people, are they stalking me, sir? I am somebody, sir. It's obvious you know who I am, right? I wouldn't be here right now, President Trump. Heck, President Trump, I sunk my own money into putting the patio out in front of my apartment complex and all the bushes and all the landscaping and mulch. That I paid for that. Me, out of my own pocket. And I'm poor. It's obvious. I know President Trump knows exactly how much money I make. And I know President Trump knows exactly how much they have ripped me off in this country. I know that. I know President Trump is not a dumb cookie. Not unless his own intel is lying to him. If the information that President Trump is getting is all lies, then President Trump is is going to believe his intel. I don't know. But it's a problem, sir. I would like to put in for a transfer. I would like to find somebody help me find a President Trump, I pay enough money here where I can afford a mortgage. But being that I'm on disability and I don't have no credit, President Trump, I want to talk to you about this credit thing. Sir, I want to talk to you about this credit thing. Do you know these banks, sir? I bought a car. I paid on it for 6 years. I, I paid the car off. I don't have nothing, no other bills. I paid it off. I got the title. I own it. Do you know that the bank now is saying, well, you need to get some kind of a loan because now you don't have no credit coming in or nothing. You did pay for your car and you didn't miss no payments and you paid it completely off, but now you got to reestablish credit again. Boy, President Trump, why should I have to take a loan out that I don't want to get unless it's for a house? Why are they discriminating against me? Because now I no longer have credit running. Why should I be denied because well, you don't have open credit? You did pay for your car for 6 years and that's paid off. We see that, but you don't have nothing. President Trump, you want to know the problem of your housing in America is because this credit bullshit. No one should be denied if they have enough to pay for the house. Credit should not be a problem. Now, what happened? Well, because these people were denied because they didn't have open credit and they wanted people to get a loan, a small loan, and pay for that to have, and then buy a house as you're paying on the loan, the small loan, because you got to build your credit, is a bunch of foobar, is what my grandpappy used to say. So, President Trump, I speak for many people. I do believe the banks had a hand in all this bullcrap with this credit thing. Your credit score is not high enough. You go out and buy another car, pay for that. And if you want to get a house, then we'll go ahead and do that. And you can pay. You want me to go into debt again where I can't afford it? You're discriminating against us disability people. How come I don't have disability mortgages, Mr. Trump? President Trump? How come our people don't have disability mortgages? They can pay for it. They make enough, right? Some of them do have mental problems, but they can take care of their house. Some of them don't. Some of them are crippled, but they can pay for it. But see, no bank will touch all this disability. Well, you're not making enough. You're not. You're not. You don't have enough credit, and it's hard to get a loan with being you're on disability. And well, you know what? How come we ain't getting no money down? Walk in today, own the house today, paying 3 months loans, just like our military that we support, just like our railroad people that get no money down loans and no payment for 3 months. Why are we not getting that, sir? Why are the American people not getting that? Or at least the people that did not serve but supported it, supported the government. Why are they not also? Why are family members of military people not getting no money down loans and moving into them homes instead of them sitting there and becoming dilapidated And nobody wants to buy it because now it's sat there for 6 years because nobody moved in it. The gutters now are coming down. The bushes have overgrown everything, and why? Because the banks would not budge, and somebody had a grudge against us and refused and discriminated against us. Let me check my chat. I'm watching, I'm listening to you ladies. Johnny Trump doesn't run the car lots. Go to your governors. Nah, the governor's already been put on a list, Debbie. I don't, Kelt, I don't think she knows how bad it is. Damn it. Now I'm complaining too. No, Kelt, you folks, I piss you people off too much. You folks, one day I'm crazy, and the next day I'm okay. The next day I'm a complete lunatic, nut job. I tell you, I'm acting. It's a movie channel, and you folks think I'm crazy. I don't want you to be here if you don't want to. I don't want to force anybody into doing anything that they don't want to do. Why? Because I have been forced my whole life to do what they tell me or else. I pay close to $400 a month for this 1 bedroom apartment, and I thank God for that. I thank God for that. And I've never missed a payment. And I've been here, I don't know how many years. Before, most of these people that moved in and turned around and tried to tell me, you can't do this, you can't do that. Right? I'm like, I run the show around here now, not you. Beat it. Scramoose. And take your pills and your fentanyl and all your other shit out of here, too. Yes, I've been going for 3 days, Debbie. Today is the third day, and on the third day, it'll be over. Why? Because on the third day, thy God, King rose. And I've been complaining and bitching and doing all kinds of mad stuff for the past 3 days. And Miss Debbie Fox is right. Today it will end. But most of it's been acting. But this part ain't. This video is not. I'm telling you the truth. I can afford a $500-$600 mortgage. Yeah. Are there homes out here that the banks will not move? They just won't move. We are not going to lose money. Well, then that house will sit there and dilapidate away. Right? You want 150,000 for it. The gutters are falling out of it. The house hasn't been lived in 5 years, and the yard's all a mess. The garage door's falling down, and you don't want to budge. Well, we'll come down 2,000. What the hell? That's why you got a problem in America with your housing. That's why. And that's why pretty soon your real estate banks are going to be knocking at President Trump's door pretty soon. Because what they didn't tell you is we're heading for another real estate crash. It's a proven fact. No way around it. It's going to crash. The car business, not so much now. Real estate, the banks are going to be crashing. No one's buying. They want way too much. They will not budge. And they're causing the homeless, and they're causing the problems. It's going to collapse. All the professionals are saying that. They'll be knocking on Trump's door for the American people to bail them out when they caused the problem. They caused the problem. They refused to budge. They refuse to give loans to people. They hold the key to the American pie. If anyone in that bank don't like you, you ain't getting that loan. Some of these people I've watched get loans, and that business was worth dirt, crap, nothing. The only reason they got a loan was because their family member was running the loan department at the bank. Boy, it turns out I think they busted that guy too, Trump. That business wasn't worth shit. That what do you mean? How? Yeah, on paper it was, but that paper that they turned in, President Trump, in Angola or whatever it was, Indiana or whatever, that was fake. That business wasn't worth that shit. How did they get that loan? Their kid was a fucking bank dude. Excuse my language, Lord. He was a bank loan officer, the head guy. That's how he got the loans. Was the business worth it? Fuck no, it wasn't worth it. No, no, it wasn't. But they were very smart and they were corrupt. And they knew how to make fake documents to turn in. And that's how they did it. That's how they did it. Let me see what's going on my chat. These women are getting mad at me. I've already upset these women and men in my chat. Valdez was supposed to be my right hand man and come in and control these women. Debbie told him to shut up. He tucked tail and ran. He split real fast. So what happened to my security? He's gone. Debbie scared him. Let me see what Kelt's saying. Mr. Johnny, you are stressing on things we cannot change. I tell my little loved ones, oh, we can change it, Kelt. We can change this whole credit thing, this whole discrimination against loans. We can change the banks. We can. Let me finish what she said. You have to carve out your own little piece of happiness and do your best. Keep your loved ones close. Yeah, I'm full of love, peace, funny stuff, all kinds of stuff. But see, people like to come into my world and they like to steal it. Uh, and I followed the laws, right? I did everything legit. I talked to somebody that was a professional. They said, we think you're getting scammed. Call these banks. I did exactly what these people told me to do, President Trump, right? Government. I did exactly what these professionals told me to do. I did everything legally. I didn't hurt nobody. I didn't threaten nobody. I didn't do anything, right? I did it properly. I didn't understand it, but I did what they told me to do. Ask these questions, right? I asked them questions. The bank people that were in charge of the loan uh, told me the truth. They sold the mortgage. They sold it to this bank. And if you want to talk or try and figure it out or find your mortgage, call this bank. I called that bank, talked to them. They said, yes, we did have your mortgage, but we also sold it in a package deal to another bank. I call that bank, right? I call another bank because that's what they do. They put all these mortgages in a bundle. There might be thousands of mortgages, and then they sell it to another person. And now they're the holder of your mortgage. That's what they do. They take all your people's mortgages, they put them in a bundle, and then they sell them to another mortgage company. Now, if they sell them to another mortgage company and someone don't like you in that mortgage company, you're going to have hell to pay. That's what I was told by the professionals. So, like I said, these people lost their homes, but not by their own hands. They lost their homes, but not by their own hands. The way the mortgage was wrote up, and uh, they pissed off the wrong people. That's what I was told. Celt shouldn't need a cosigner to get a mortgage. That's what I'm trying to tell you, folks. We are United States citizens. In our own country, we should not need a cosigner. And as long as you can afford to pay the mortgage on that house, it should not matter what kind of credit you got. If you can afford that house and make the payments, you should be able to buy that home. This whole credit thing is a bunch of crap. Now, I can see you needing certain amount of credit to take out $1 million mortgage. Yes, I agree with that. But for a $60,000 house or a $150,000 house, I don't believe you should need credit, right? If you had a loan and you paid on it and you paid that loan, whether it was for a car, whatever, your credit is established. You took a loan out from a bank, you paid it all back, you should have good credit. Now, if you go take another loan and you mess it up, then I think they have the right to say something, right? But to buy a home, I don't believe you should need all kinds of credit to buy a home. Yeah, I think you guys should not probably be here. If I'm stressing you out, Kel and Debbie, and you're worried about private chat and you shouldn't be in here and stuff, then yes, please go. I don't want you to be. I don't want you to be uncomfortable or whatever, right? I would like to do some changes in America. That's why I'm making this video to President Trump. Now, if I threaten President Trump, right, will that get the attention of these people? Probably. It might even get the attention of President Trump. Maybe President Trump will see this video one day. If the government says, oh my God, lockdown Trump, Kramer's gone crazy. What did he do? He made a video. Let me see it. And I'm telling President Trump that I'm in the movie stuff now. I sit here and I don't make no money, Trump. I don't make no money, President Trump, from nothing. They just steal my stuff, and you've been watching it on the silver screen. This has been going on since I was a young kid. Well, my whole family's pretty much gone through this. You've seen many movies about my family. All right, let me see what Cal's saying. 24 years, and I think he can walk away free and clear. Dumped me in the street, gave up having a career. Why is she timing? Why is she canceling that? Oh, I see who it is. No, I know. That's what I do when I'm trying to send someone a message. I'll say something and then I delete it real fast so nobody sees it. I do that on YouTube. I'll say something to some of these crime people, but I'll delete it real quick, and then someone will they'll be doing a video and they'll be like, "I seen your message," but I delete it right away. I usually do that when these people are talking about crime and they're looking for, "Wow, how did this happen?" And then I'll leave a message real quick in their chat. And they'll be like, "Oh," and then I delete it real quick. I don't know why she's saying Johnny chillax. I'm fine. I'm just talking normally. That's upsetting. I did. That's upsetting. What is? Thanks, Debbie. I just wanted you to have time to read it. Go ahead. I know you guys are trying to make the whole world think I'm crazy, that I'm bad and controlling these women, but I've numerous times I told these ladies, you don't have to watch. You don't have to come back. You don't have to watch it. And then some of the people said, well, they're not there to watch it. They're there to. They're watching you. I'm like, oh, okay. I had no idea. I don't know. Well, I don't know how long we're going to have to do this, President Trump. What I need is a real estate lady. These real estate people, they don't even want to help you, right? You call a real estate agent's place, and can you help me get this house and everything? Well, we don't do anything. You'll have to go to a bank. You'll have to go to your bank and get a loan. They don't do nothing. I didn't know that. I thought you just go to a real estate agent and say, I want to buy that house. They write it all up and they have a bank already and they give you the loan. Now here, they don't even want to help you. Oh, you're a retard? Nah, you're gonna have to go to your bank or get someone else. You're gonna have to get somebody to help you. Yeah, I belong to a credit union. That's where I got my car. Yeah, I paid my car off, didn't miss any payments. Uh, Paid it off a couple years ago, a year ago, a couple years ago. Yeah, you gotta. I didn't know that. I just saw you call the real estate people, and I want to buy that house. I'm an idiot. I got documentation to show that I'm an idiot. Uh, got problems and stuff. I want to buy that house, and they're like, That's what they told me. You're gonna have to go to a bank. Well, I thought they had banks right there, that right at the real estate office. Right? They just write it up and they call their bank, and you get a mortgage. Hell, excuse my language, Lord. When I bought that house from my aunt, they came right to my house. I didn't have to go to a bank. They came right to my house, gave me the loan right there. Didn't even have to go to a bank or anything. I wanted to buy the house. And that's what these people said. They're like, what do you mean they came? I said, they came to, I signed the paperwork at my house. At the house I bought, the real estate people that gave me the money to buy the house or whatever it was, did it right in my house. I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to go to no bank or anything. And they were like, huh, that's fishy. And I'm like, what do you mean that's fishy? They're like, well, usually they don't go to your house, right? And usually, they must have had their own bank that they were dealing with. And I was like, oh, they must have. They must have. I don't know. And I took a loan out for 50 some thousand or whatever. And somehow I walked away with a couple grand, but I turned that back into the house to fix the house up, right? So, and like I said, for the first year, everything was going fine until until I came home one day and I got something in the mail saying your mortgage has gone up. I was like, what the hell are you talking about? What are you talking about? I got a fixed mortgage. It's this amount of money. It don't go up. What are you talking about? It's the same amount of money for 25 years or whatever I said, 30 years or whatever. They're like, that's not what you have. You have a balloon mortgage. I'm like, no, I don't. That's how I found out I had a balloon mortgage. I was like, balloon mortgage? What are you talking about? What the heck is a balloon mortgage? And they're like, well, your mortgage goes up. I'm like, oh, shit. And she's like, yeah, well, that's why we're sending you this because your mortgage is going up. I'm like, I can't afford this. I thought it was a set rate. And then this is what exactly they told me. No, it's a balloon mortgage. They must have got the paperwork mixed up or whatever, but it's a balloon mortgage. And you'll have to pay on the house for at least 3 years, I think they said. 2 or 3 years. And then you can go ahead and try and refinance it after you pay the 2, 3 years or whatever it was. Then you can try and refinance it. Well, I did that, but it got to where I couldn't pay for it. And I was calling every bank in the world around here at trying to get refinanced. And they kept telling me the same thing. It's too old of a mortgage. It's too old of a property, a manufactured home. And I'm like, it was built in the 1980 or 90 or whatever. They're like, yeah, we only go back 12 years. So if it's older than 12 years, we're not going to give a loan on it. I was like, well, why didn't they tell me that when I bought the house? And they were like, probably because the house was too old. I started laughing. We both were laughing. This bank lady or these people, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. They're like, no. You wouldn't got refinanced on it anyways because it's too old of a manufactured home. And most places only give loans on certain age manufactured homes. Anything over that age, they will not give a loan on it. And and I'm like, well, they never told me that. And she said they probably never will. That's how they get you into that property. And you're stuck with it. And I was like, oh crap. And like I said, I have a disability. I don't understand all this stuff. And pretty much I asked them, I said, so what does this mean? Can I get my house? Can I fix this? And every single one of these bank people said, no, no, you're gonna lose your home and you're screwed. Because there ain't no one even gonna refinance it because it's too old of a manufactured home. I mean, it was a nice manufactured home, right? Double wide or whatever they call it. I don't know. It was on a foundation, acre and a half of land and everything, right? I loved it there. There was fruit trees. I had deer walking right up to my backyard. I wake up in the morning to go to work, and there'd be deer in my backyard on their back legs, eating my peaches and my cherries and my apples and stuff. I mean, a whole herd. I was dating this one chick. She was living with me. She got up one morning and she was just flabbergasted. She's like, "You're not going to believe this. You got all kinds of deer in your back." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, they come in and eat off my fruit trees in the backyard." I have some big bucks out there eating on my peaches and my apples and everything. She was like, "You got to be kidding me." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, it's when it's rutting season, they come through here and the whole herd will come in my backyard and eat all the fruit." Literally, these big bucks were standing on their back legs. They look like they look like humans, and they were actually walking around the tree on their back legs, eating the fruit off the tree. She was all flipped out. She couldn't believe it. She's like, "Oh my God, we got deer." I'm like, "Excuse me, I have deer. You don't. You can you can look at them and everything, but they're my deer. We're not married. You just live here." She didn't like that too much, but she understood. She understood. I'd be able to sit at my kitchen table, look out my window, and watch the deer eat off of my. And I'm not talking way out in the field. I'm talking my fruit trees were probably maybe 50 feet away from my window, if that. So they were literally, a whole herd. I don't know, 20, 30 of them come running up and eat out of my fruit trees. Uh, 10, 20 of them at a time would come. I owned a piece of property with my house. It was right off the DNR land, the wildlife land. You couldn't hunt there, you couldn't fish. There was a lake there, and it was all wilderness behind my house. And they would come right out of the field, uh, right up into my backyard, right to my trees. And they would even come into my front yard and eat uh, the stuff in my front yard. And some of the girls I dated loved it. Well, women, I mean. Well, they were girls because they acted like it sometimes. No, it wasn't much. It wasn't much. It wasn't the greatest house in the world, but I loved it. I loved having my privacy. I loved being out there on an acre and a half of land. Uh, I loved it. I loved it. Had a couple dogs. Uh, had an IROC, 86 IROC, and a 79 Trans Am. Uh, a shed, a lawnmower, and I was happy. I was really proud of myself because I was an idiot. I had a disability, and I finally had a piece of the American pie. And boy, I must have pissed on someone's Cheerios because they took that real fast. All right, we are at 2 hours. I've had enough of this. I want to thank all of you folks for coming in. Mr. Trump, I hope you see this one day. Ah, excuse me, sir. You don't have to worry about me, sir. I'm not no terrorist. I'm not a bad person like all these people are saying. I'm an actor, pretty good at it. Believe me, as many times as these people have called authorities and choppers flying over, pretty good at this acting stuff. But you don't have to worry about me, sir. I'm not that dumb to do anything to my fellow man. Although I think they did something to me, sir. But uh, you don't have to worry about me attacking my country and my fellow man. I'm not your problem, sir. No, I want you folks to have a great night. God bless y'all. I'm sorry I bored you folks, and I'm really sorry I went on a 3-day rant, but I got some good clips out of it. I deleted it so nobody can take it, right? I did delete it so nobody could take it. That's what I usually do. I'll come up with rant madness and I'll be like, oh, that sounds good. That would be great in a movie. And then I'll delete it, right? Save it and delete it or whatever, copy it and delete it. So no one will take it from the channel, which people have taken my music and stuff. I want you folks to have a great weekend. Be safe. God bless. I'll be back uh, maybe later. Have a good night. God bless. And I'll talk to you folks later.